In the 1960s, public lands as we knew them began to change. They were no longer viewed as the lands no one wanted, but as vast areas of untapped potential. We wanted these lands to be managed for a host of demands, including outdoor recreation, grazing, timber, wildlife, oil and gas, historical preservation, and other attributes unique to America's West. This was no small task, and the BLM found its role shifting from a linear focus on grazing, mining, and homesteading actions to a balancing act between resource use and resource conservation. Environmental legislation in the 1970s would have a huge impact on the range livestock industry. Consequently, the BLM and Forest Service moved from general grazing management to a more focused effort to protect rangeland resources. The BLM developed or modified the terms and conditions of grazing permits and leases, implementing new range improvement projects. Some of these improvements, like water troughs, also benefited wildlife. The fences that were built helped to better control the areas where the livestock grazed. Today, the agency uses rangeland health standards and guidelines that were developed in the 1990s with input from citizen-based resource advisory councils. These standards were created collaboratively, with everyone around the table, including scientists, community members, biologists, and ranchers, all dedicated to determine the best conditions to promote rangeland health. These standards were then adapted to meet each state's needs. We all know that one size doesn't fit all. They asked various questions like, what does a healthy landscape look like? What does a healthy stream look like? How many different plants, shrubs, and flowers should be in a given location? And is there adequate habitat for wildlife? The ultimate goal was to make sure our rangelands were diverse and healthy. Idaho BLM proposed standards and guidelines developed by the 45 members of our 3 resource advisory councils. We took this feedback to the public, and upon their suggestions, we implemented a few revisions, and we had a great set of standards and guidelines to direct us. These standards and guidelines allow range specialists to work with ranchers to adapt to conditions on the ground by periodically resting pastures or deferring grazing for a period of time during critical native plant growth periods and other approaches. It took Idaho nearly 2 years of hard work to develop 8 standards and 20 guidelines that provide the framework for how grazing works today.